Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. So for today's video, we are going to be turning off injuries for an entire NBA season and just seeing like what really could have been. There's so many teams out there that have been struck with the injury bug this season and seasons past. So I really want to see what exactly a perfect NBA season would look like. So before I can go on this video, I do eventually want to do this type of video on a larger scale. So I need help from you guys because I do want to create a roster of what the NBA would look like today if injuries just never existed. So guys, let me know in the comment section below which players would still be in the NBA, which guys would still be dominating if injuries never existed. You know, guys like Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, just to name a few. Yao Ming would probably still be playing if he was never injured. So yeah, guys, let me know that in the comment section below. And just real quick here, we are going to go through these rosters and just take a look at the teams and just see like what could have been if injuries were never to happen. I mean, look at the 76ers. Of course, Markelle Fultz has had his shoulder injury, which been, you know, making him, people writing him off as a bust already. Milwaukee Bucks, I think for the most part, have been pretty like lenient of the injury bug. I don't really think they've been hit too much this season. The Chicago Bulls, I know they've lost a lot of their players to it this year, and especially sucks for a rebuilding team, because they are looking to develop the young guys and just work towards becoming a better franchise in years to come. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Kevin Love was off to a great start, averaging a solid like 19 points, 12 rebounds per game off that huge contract, looking to be the new leader of the Cleveland Cavaliers before going down with a injury that sidelined him for most of the NBA season. The Boston Celtics, Gordon Hayward last season, like going into it, man, the perfect definition of a fan base being hyped up for a season. And then it starts, and Gordon Hayward within the first quarter went down with his horrible injury before. You got the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head on this team that's had really too bad of injuries as of right now. I mean, I know like Danilo Gallinari's been injury prone for most of his NBA career, so hopefully they can avoid that going forward. You have the Memphis Grizzlies out there. I mean, Chandler Parsons has had his share of injuries. Going back to his Houston Rockets days, he was dominant, and then had some bad injuries, and he just fell off completely as an NBA player. The Atlanta Hawks, I think for the most part, you bless guys like Vince Carter, man, that's playing at the age of 41. Like, he has been blessed to, I know a lot of it is athleticism and just him taking care of his body, but damn, a guy playing that long and never really having any major injuries, just good for him. The Miami Heat, I know Goran Dragic has been out for, I believe, the entire NBA season. I don't think he's played yet, has he? Due to some bad injuries. You got the Charlotte Hornets out there. I think for the most part, this team stayed injury-free, although, I know like Zeller went down, I believe it was 2 seasons ago. He was playing some of his best basketball. Tony Parker, of course, as of late, when he played for the Spurs, went down with a bad injury. The Utah Jazz, Ricky Rubio, I know missed some time recently. Cephalosha, I know had a pretty bad injury a few years back. Looking at the Sacramento Kings, I'm pretty sure for the most part, this team has been relatively healthy. Normally, younger teams are going to stay healthy. Iman Shumpert's had his share of injuries, though. The New York Knicks, Kristaps Porzingis, I really want to see how this team is with Kristaps out there. Just because, like, the way Tim Hardaway's been playing, I really feel like this team could have been, something decent out there with Kristaps Porzingis. For the Los Angeles Lakers, you guys lost LeBron James for some time. I mean, he had this team playing amazing basketball, and now they might not. There's talks of the Lakers not making playoffs. Losing Rondo, losing Lonzo Ball, those are all big pieces to this team's success. The Orlando Magic, if I remember correctly, I believe Jonathan Isaac had injury issues in his rookie season, so that's not great. For the Dallas Mavericks, JJ Barea, the GOAT that he is, his career might be over with. Just in one play, the 34-year, he was a 79 overall in 2K, guys, so it's not like he was a bad player, went down, and that's just that might be the end of his NBA career, just like that guy that's won a championship. For the Brooklyn Nets, Caris LeVert, this one hit me hard. Like, I remember watching that game. Caris LeVert was playing amazing out of Michigan, and he's had injury issues in college, and then all of a sudden, he's just, I believe he's out for the season, if not the majority of it. For the Denver Nuggets, Paul Millsap, he's never really been able to bounce back. I mean, he has his good games out there, but he's had injuries out there. Isaiah Thomas, we've not really got to see him yet. It's taken out Michael Porter Jr. We've not got to see him perform yet as a rookie here. And really, even in college, he didn't get to play all that much. Who knows if he's going to be back and be the player he was supposed to be. Indiana Pacers, Oladipo. This one sucks so much, man. The Pacers were playing such great basketball. Oladipo is just the workhorse he is. It's just done. He's just done. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Anthony Davis is going to be out for the next month or so with a bad injury. So who knows what that's going to do for the Pelicans and the future of him on the franchise. The Detroit Pistons, I think for the most part here, they've had pretty good luck with injuries. They've had a few guys here and there. I know Luke Kennard was down with a bad arm injury. Ish Smith missed a little bit of time. Toronto Raptors, I mean, Kawhi Leonard got injured against the Golden State Warriors on the Spurs in that one series, and that was essentially just the end of his days on that team. So, who knows, man? Like, if he would have stayed healthy, maybe he would have stayed on the Spurs. For the Houston Rockets, James Harden's playing great basketball, but you lose Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon with his injury issues out there. And all of a sudden, this team that, with all those guys healthy, is probably a top 2 or 3 team in the Western Conference. Now the whole team is just on the back in the beard of James Harden. San Antonio Spurs, DeJounte Murray, he was one of the first players to be out this NBA season. Their young point guard who really had hopes and dreams of just being like a triple-double machine and just really taking this team hopefully to the next level. The Phoenix Suns, I know Devin Booker had his share of issues, but for the most part, I think this team has been pretty healthy. The OKC Thunder, I'm still curious. Andre Roberson, he's so important to this team defensively, like him and Paul George and Russell Westbrook. You know, their perimeter defense, it's going to be game-changing. A guy like that, yes, he can't shoot, but he does other things out there. The Timberwolves, Derrick Rose, he is the poster boy for, like, pretty much a man, essentially a guy that's had so many injuries, did not give up, changed his game, and now he's amazing yet again. So great for him on that. The Portland Trailblazers, I think for the most part, have been relatively healthy. Golden State Warriors, I mean, DeMarcus Cousins, like, getting him now at this point in the season as opposed to getting him at the beginning of the year, just the chemistry itself and what that does. The Washington Wizards, the John Wall's gone, Dwight Howard's gone. I mean, that's 2 of their top 3 best players on their entire team. So yeah, guys, the injury bug's been bad. It's been bad for quite a while now. So we are going to go ahead. I went ahead and did rotations for all these teams here. I want to simulate an entire NBA season. I want to see exactly how a perfect season would play out. Now, my guess is that it's going to mean the Golden State Warriors probably winning 70-plus games, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. So, yeah, man, I guess I want to know from you guys in the comment section below, do you feel like there's anything a player can do to control their injuries out there, or do you feel like it's just kind of something that happens? Do you feel like maybe it has something to do with the shoes they wear? Maybe it's the way they are, I guess, playing the game of basketball? Guys, give me 1 second here. Let me do all these stupid G League things. Give me 1 second, guys. I know for me personally, I kind of feel like it comes down to how much a player is playing. I mean, yes, there's always going to be like the freak accidents where, like, you know, there's practice and some guy just comes down the wrong way. But it typically is like a lot of like the star players that get injured. And I feel like that it's just, you know, you look at Victor Oladipo for a prime example. I mean, that guy probably has not stopped at all. He's probably not taking a day off at all. I mean, since getting to the Indiana Pacers. And that's why I respected so much about him, is that he lost last year in the playoffs. And I remember him saying, like, I think he was practicing that very night. So he probably did not take a break since then. And eventually, you know, you just land the wrong way and like the knee gives out or whatever it is. There's not really anything to do too much about that, because it's one of 2 ways. It's like you either take time off, but while you're taking time off, there's always somebody out there getting better than you. And I know guys like Victor Oladipo, they take that to heart. They're like, no, man, no days off for me. So at the same time, that same type of mindset can help you become a better player over time and just help you get through things like this. I mean, can you imagine? I know in the past we've all kind of like clowned on Derrick Rose a bit, but I mean, just the amount of injuries he's had, the type of injuries he's had, and his ability to bounce back not only physically but mentally and become the player he is today, that is just absolutely insane to think about. Like, you gotta want it, man. And guys like Derrick Rose, they want it. So good for him on that. And I just think about guys like, you know, like Tracy McGrady. I mean, yeah, he's had his share of injuries early in his career, still turned out to be a really good player. But if he never had any of those injuries, like, what would he have became? Grant Hill, before his injuries, was actually being compared to Michael Jordan. They were saying Grant Hill could have taken over Michael Jordan. I don't think that would have happened, but he still would have been close if it wasn't for the injuries out there. So yeah, man, I just needed to see this video. I needed to do this just to see, bro. And despite no injuries, Giannis still getting MVPs. Please, 2K guys, please, NBA guys, please, basketball guys, protect this man Giannis out there. He's so dominant. He's so great. Look at that stat line. You got Luka Doncic as Rookie of the Year, Dennis Schroeder, 6-man Giannis Defensive Player, Clint Capella as Most Improved, and Steve Kerr as Coach of the Year. All NBA teams, so pretty much all healthy guys. I mean, I know like these guys have had their share of injuries in the past, but still, all NBA second. And I mean, Chris Paul, all NBA second point guard. He's just had so many bad injuries the past few seasons. Like, and it's really hurt the Houston Rockets a lot just because of that. Kristaps Porzingis, All-NBA third team. So it almost gets to the point where some of these guys get injured like this, and it's like we kind of take for granted just how great and how game-changing they are for their teams out there. So as far as playoffs go, we got Toronto, Charlotte, Indiana, Detroit, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, and Cleveland with Kevin Love out there. Golden State, Minnesota, New Orleans at the 4th seed with San Antonio, OKC, Denver, and the Houston Rockets versus the Utah Jazz. Let's go ahead and real quick and just check out the player stats on the season. I'm just going to do it this way, not going to go to league leaders. I said that wrong. I'm going to go to league leaders and just kind of like scroll through these, and you guys can see kind of some of the top scorers out there, maybe guys that have been injured and what they're doing now. Porzingis at 26 points, 8 rebounds per game. John Wall, 24 points, 9 assists per game. I know that team in general is having its struggles, but still, he's a really solid NBA player. And somehow Reggie Jackson's still a damn top scorer on this team, man. I don't understand how. Another guy I actually really respect too is Zach LaVine, because he's another guy that has had some bad injuries, but he's bounced back and became a really solid NBA player. So good for him on that. So there's the top 40 scores. Let's go ahead, guys, simulate these playoffs out there, see who wins it all. I mean, I guess I should probably go to the standings real quick here too, so we can see like what the top records were. So yeah, conference standings, Toronto has 60 and 22. I mean, in the end of the day, we still like know who the better teams are. But like Western Conference, 62 and 20. Like we know if DeMarcus Cousins comes back midway through the season or at the beginning of the season, despite all the other talent out there. I mean, they were still going to be the best team out there, but I don't know, man. I just feel like when a player goes down for an entire season, it just really it sets the team behind an entire year, in my opinion, man. It's just like it sets them behind because then the player has to come back next season. They have to get their legs under them. Who knows how many games that's going to cost them. Not to mention, it's like when a player goes down, you have to adjust your roster, and sometimes that means trading away young prospects to get players to fill that void. Then once you trade for that player, unless it's an expiring contract, they come back next season, and you got to find out how to work them into the lineup again to keep them happy. It's just such a freaking headache. So, yeah, I just want a perfect NBA season. All right, simulate current round here. I still think it's still going to be Golden State, Toronto, though, man, sadly, man. Still, Warriors in 4, believe it or not. OKC gone, Spurs gone, Pacers gone, Philadelphia gone. So we got Toronto, Boston, Golden State, Houston. It makes sense. If everybody's happy, the top seeds are going to make it to the conference finals. Simulate current round here. Come on, Houston, man. Come on, Houston. Come on, guys. Come on, Chris Paul. Come on, Clint Capella. Do it for the damn culture. I don't know. And no, we still got Toronto and the Warriors. Simulate current round. And it looks like the winner is going to be the Toronto Raptors in 4-2. I just needed to see this, guys. I needed to see a completely healthy NBA season. I'm just sick of injuries so much. But hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Remember, guys, if you can let me know in the comment section below some guys that would still be in the NBA right now, it would be greatly appreciated. I can go on that roster. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.